So today what we're going to be working on is solving a system of equations algebraically. So that's not using the graphing calculator. You can only use the graphing calculator for computation, so you can't graph it. By substitution. All right, so here are the steps. I'll go over the steps and then we'll do a couple problems. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put both linear equations, and that's all we're doing right now are linear equations, in y equals form. So you want y equals everything to the right side. Set the equations equal to each other, and you could do that because they're both y equals. So you're taking one and plugging it into the other. You're going to solve for x. Then you're going to plug x into one of the equations. It doesn't matter which one you plug it into to find y. Write the solution as a point, and then you're going to check it. All right, so one thing you should get used to with the check, now what you might start seeing is it might say verify the solution. Verify the solution means to check. So let's write that right next to the word check. It'll say verify the solution. So verify the solution means to check it. All right, so let's take a look at number one. So number one, I have y equals 6x plus 2, and the other equation is y equals 3x plus 5. They are both in y equals form. That takes care of the first step. Put both in y equals form. They both are. Now we're going to set the equations equal to each other, and I can do that because they're both equal to y. It's like taking one, if this is y, and substituting it in for that y there. Okay, so we set them equal to each other. All right, so we have 6x, and it doesn't matter which one you put on which side. Plus 2 equals 3x plus 5. Now you're going to solve for x. All right, so I'm going to minus 3x from both sides. 6x minus 3x is 3x. Plus 2 equals, the 3x minus 3x cancels, equals 5. Now I'm going to minus 2 from both sides. So I have 3x, the 2's cancel, equals 5 minus 2 is 3. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 3 divided by 3 is 1. All right, so we just solved for x. That was step 3. Now we have to take x equals 1 and plug it into one of the two equations. It doesn't matter, so I'm going to plug it into the first one. All right, so right here I'm going to put find y. Write the equation down. Y equals 6x plus 2. Now plug in y, x equals 1. Y equals 6 times 1 plus 2. So that's 6 plus 2, and that means y is equal to 8. So now you're going to write the word solution. Sorry, I probably didn't give you enough room here. Or maybe you do have enough room. This just writing on this is, magnifies the writing. So my solution is my x is 1 and my y is 8. All right, now we're going to verify the solution. Verifying the solution means to check the solution. So we're going to do the check. Don't put it under number 2. Put it someplace, not under number 2. So you have a place to do number 2. All right, when you do the check, you're checking both equations. So you're going to have two checks. So write down the equation, y equals 6x plus 2. That's the first one. I'm plugging in y is 8 equals 6 times the x. X is 1 plus 2. 8 equals 6 plus 2. 8 equals 8. Check. All right, now write down the other equation. Y equals 3x plus 5. Plug in y. Remember, y is 8. Equals 3 times x is 1 plus 5. 8 equals 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 equals 8. And that checks. All right, so let's take a look at number 2. Let me just clean this up over here. Okay, number 2. So my equations are 4x minus y equals negative 5. Right away, I notice this is not equal to y. And then I have y equals negative 8x plus 5. So the bottom one is good. The top equation we have to work with. So I'm going to rewrite the top equation right here. So 4x minus y equals negative 5. So I want to solve for y. I want to get y all by itself. So I'm going to minus 4x from both sides. So 4x minus 4x is 0. So be careful of the sign here. All right? It's negative y, it's negative 1y, equals negative 4x minus 5. Remember, you can't add them. They're not like terms. And notice I put the x first. Now, this is negative 1y. So you have to divide everything by negative 1. Divide everything by negative 1. So we get y equals, and what happens when you divide by negative 1? It just changes the sign. So I get 4x plus 5. All right, so now let's write this over here. So now I have y equals 4x plus 5. Now I can set them equal to each other. So I have 4x plus 5, and remember, it doesn't matter which one you put on which side, equals negative 8x plus 5. All right, so now we're going to solve. I'm going to add the 8x to the right side and left side. So that will cancel out the 8x and negative 8x. So 4x plus 8x is 12x plus 5 equals 5. Remember, I'm solving for x, so I'm going to minus 5. So that cancels the 5's there. So I have 12x equals, all right, now this also cancels. That becomes 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. That's okay. Divide by 12. 0 divided by any number is equal to 0. So now I have x is equal to 0. Now I'm going to find y. So find y. Take either one of these two equations here. It doesn't matter. I'll use y equals 4x plus 5. Plug in, x is 0. Y equals 4 times 0 plus 5. 4 times 0 is 0 plus 5. Y equals 5. So now write down the word solution. My x is 0, my y is 5. All right, now we're going to do a check. Verify the solutions. Remember, a check is verifying the solutions. All right, write down both equations. Now, when you do a check, you always use the original. So you do have to use this equation up here, okay, which is 4x minus y equals negative 5. So let's write that down first. 4x minus y equals negative 5. Okay, my x is 0, so it's 4 times 0 minus your y, which is 5. Does that equal negative 5? So we have 0 minus 5 equals negative 5. Negative 5 equals negative 5. Check. All right, the other equation, the second equation, was y equals negative 8x plus 5. So let's write that down. Y equals negative 8x plus 5. Sorry, I was just checking to make sure I had it written right. So we have, remember, y is 5 equals negative 8 times 0 is x plus 5. 5 equals negative 8 times 0 is 0 plus 5. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 equals 5, and that checks. Remember, checking is called verifying the solution. Okay, let me get rid of all this here. All right, let's take a look at number 3. So you can see they're all the same. It's just getting them in y equals form correctly. I think once you get them in y equals form correctly, they're pretty basic. All right, number 3, we have negative 2x plus y equals 11, and negative 3x plus 3y equals 24. So they're both not in y equals form. So I'm going to rewrite the first one. Negative 2x plus y equals 11. Remember, I want to get y all by itself. So add 2x to both sides. Negative 2x plus 2x is 0, so I get y equals, the 2x will go in front of the 11, and remember, you can't add them, they're not like terms. All right, let's rewrite the second one. Negative 3x plus 3y equals 24. Okay, again, I know I have to get y by itself, but first I need to get the 3y by itself, okay? So start with getting rid of the negative 3x by adding 3x. So I have 3y equals, put the 3x in front of the 24, plus 24, 3x plus 24. Now remember, I want to get the y by itself, so I have to divide now by 3. Make sure you divide everything by 3. So I get y equals, because the 3's reduce. The 3's reduced there, so that's 1x. Don't forget that's a 1 in front of the x, plus 8. All right, so now I have my two equations here and here, and I'm going to set them equal to each other because now I'm ready to solve for x and y. So 2x plus 11 equals x plus 8. And now we're solving for x. Okay, sorry about that. My dog rings a bell to go out, so I had to let her out. So you heard her ringing the bell, I think. All right, so let's solve for x. So remember, this is 1x, so I'm going to minus 1x. I always like to move the smaller x first. So I have 2x minus 1x is x, 1x, plus 11 equals 8. Remember, I'm solving for x, so I'm going to minus 11. 8 minus 11 is negative 3. Now we're going to solve for y. So we're going to find y here. Pick either one of these two equations here. It doesn't matter which one you pick. It's probably easier if we pick this one in the yellow because there's no number in front of x. So y equals x plus 8 I'm going to use. So plug in the negative 3 for x. Y equals negative 3 plus 8. Negative 3 plus 8 is positive 5. So right now, write down the word solution. Write it as a point. X is negative 3 and y is 5. Now we're going to verify the solution. Verifying the solution means to check. Remember, we check always the original, so we have to go back to these guys here. So I'm going to write down the first one. Negative 2x plus y equals 11. So write that down. Negative 2x plus y equals 11. Okay, so we're going to plug in x is negative 3, so it's negative 2 times negative 3, plus your y, which is 5, equals 11. So negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6, plus 5 equals 11. 6 plus 5 is 11, equals 11. Check. All right, let's look at the other equation. Negative 3x plus 3y equals 24. Negative 3x plus 3y equals 24. Negative 3x plus 3y equals 24. So remember, your x is negative 3 and your y is 5. So it's negative 3 times your x, which is negative 3, plus 3 times your y is 5, and that has to equal 24. So negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. 3 times 5 is 15. Does that equal 24? Yes, 9 plus 15 is 24, equals 24, and that checks. Okay, so that's it, and we'll practice some more in class tomorrow. Everybody have a good night.